And here is the morning sports desk for Tuesday, February 6th. Now, CJ again. Hi, I'm Corey. CJ's out on vacation all week. We've got a lot of stuff to look at again today. Well, not a ton of stuff, but some big stuff to look at today. First things first, I want to take a look at our high school schedule and our broadcast schedule today on AM 920 and 101.7 FM KWAD tonight, and online, wadenaradio.com/KWAD. We have a big-time Park Region Conference boys basketball game. The Wadena Deer Creek Wolverines will host the Henning Hornets. These are the top two teams in the PRC. So let's break it down. We'll start with the home team, Wadena Deer Creek. They are 13-4 overall. They're 9-1 in Park Region Conference play. That's second in the conference. They're 3-2 in section play so far, representing Section 8AA. Their QRF rating is 71.6. In 2A boys basketball, they are ranked 52nd out of 123. The Wolverines have won 2 straight games over Barnesville and Bertha Hewitt. Going back, losing to Perham back on the 30th of January, but then rattling off looks like 7 straight, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 straight before that, leading into this game with Henning tonight. As a matter of fact, that January 4th matchup, the Wolverines played at Henning. It was a 66-55 loss to the Hornets in that one. The Henning Hornets come in at 17-2 overall. They're out of Section 6A. They're 6-0 in section play during the regular season, 10-0 in Park Region Conference play. They're tops in the PRC. Their QRF rating is 90.3. They're ranked 6th in Class A basketball. They are winners of, holy moly, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 straight, including their last victory, a 100-51 win over Sabika a week ago on February 1st, not even a week ago, a game which I was able to see. Let's take a look at the Park Region Conference and see how the standings bear themselves out. Henning, again, the top team, 10-0 in PRC play. They're 17-2 overall. Hornets average 68.7 points per game, give up just 48.6 points per game. Again, their QRF value 90.3. And are on a 10-game winning streak. Wadena Deer Creek is number 2 in the conference. They're 9-1 in PRC play, 13-4 overall. They score 71.3 points per game and give up 57.8. Their QRF value is 71.6. They're winners of 2 straight. Pillager's third in the conference at 7-3. Monaga 5-5. Bertha Hewitt and Sabika each 4-6. Verndale's 1-9, and New York Mills is 0-10. Again, these two teams played about a month ago, January 4th in Henning. It was a 66-55 victory for the Hornets, and these two teams, well, they've been battling after it for the top of the Park Region Conference now for a few years anyway, and they have been, generally speaking, pretty good battles, and expect this one at the Wadena Deer Creek Middle and High School tonight to be just exactly one of those things. Both teams playing really good basketball right now, and I'm looking forward to talking to Coach Thunberg and Coach Mizigatis about their teams just to see where it is that we're at, because when you look at the regular season for Wadena Deer Creek, after tonight, 2, 4, 6, just 8 games, 9 games if you include tonight, left in the regular season. Henning, if you include tonight, 2, 4, 6, 7 games left in the regular season. So we're getting down to it. Really, there's no other way to say it. It's getting to the end of the season. It's time to be playing your best basketball. And with an outright or share of the conference title effectively on the line here this evening, well, my goodness gracious, we're excited to be along. Again, 7:15 pregame, 7:30 tip time. You can listen on 101.7 FM and AM 920 KWAD. What else do we have to look forward to around the state here tonight? Well, the Timberwolves are going to try to get a winning streak going. They visit the Chicago Bulls at the United Center. That is a 7 o'clock tip, closing in, still a couple weeks out from their All-Star game. Gopher men's basketball is hosting Michigan State tonight. That is a later start than normal, an 8 o'clock start time. And Gopher women's basketball lost at Michigan State 76-65 last night. The Wild are still getting ready, is still on technically their all-star break, but they get back to the second half of the season tomorrow night. They'll be at the Chicago Blackhawks for an 8:30 start time. Okay, that's really it. I mean, the main crux of this here today is that boys basketball game on our broadcast schedule, and not a lot that's super important to talk about as far as our state sports go. But I thought I'd have a little fun here today with the morning sports desk. I was thinking about, and I came across some highlights, just some baseball stuff from when I was growing up, and I started to think about my favorite all-time Minnesota Twin, and you could probably break it down into different eras and things like that, from when I was growing up to, maybe starting in like high school through maybe like the age of 30, and then from the age 30 and up where we sit, because it changes, right? Every team has a different player, but while one particular player is there, that's your guy, whether it was Joe Mauer or Justin Morneau. For me, going back, my all-time favorite Twin is Kirby, 38 years old. How could it not be Kirby Puckett? So I was thinking about that, and I thought, man, wouldn't it be fun to take a look around the division and remind myself of some favorite players from around the American League Central Division, and which guys did I really look forward to? Maybe that's too strong. Which guys did I like from some of the other teams? So let's go through that. My all-time favorite Twin is Kirby Puckett. You'll have to let me know who your favorite all-time Twin is too. But let's go around the division. The Chicago White Sox, easily my least favorite team in all of Major League Baseball, even more than the Yankees. I know it's fun. I know it's easy to hate on the Yankees. The White Sox are my least favorite team. I don't know. Maybe it is the pinstripes in just a different iteration. But my favorite White Sox player going back throughout my lifetime, you could probably go a couple different ways. Obviously, Frank Thomas was awesome. And I think I'm going with the two-way tie. I'm going with Frank Thomas, and I'm going with Mark Burley. Just love those guys. Some really great ones in there also. Paul Konerko would be a really nice choice. We all know my least favorite White Sox player of all time is Juan Uribe. No offense. I'm sure he's a lovely guy. Or isn't. I don't care. So Mark Burley, Frank Thomas, my two all-time favorite White Sox players. When I go to the Kansas City Royals, boy, they haven't had a lot of great. They haven't had a lot of great over the years. Again, I'm copping out here. I'm picking a tie once again. Zach Greinke, awesome for the Kansas City Royals for forever. And I loved Billy Butler. I don't know what it was about that guy. Maybe it's just because he looked like a regular dude, like a guy I would play slow pitch softball against. There is, by the way, as an aside, an all-time slow pitch softball team. That includes Billy Butler, includes Matt Lecroy. It includes Matt Stairs. Remember that guy? Yeah, they would be on the all-time slow pitch softball team. But anyway, Billy Butler, Zach Greinke, my all-time favorite Kansas City Royals players. For the Detroit Tigers, Justin Verlander. I mean, what can you say about that guy other than the fact that he was absolutely incredible? This was close because it'd be hard not to include Miggy on there, right? It was hard for me not to necessarily include Pudge. But when I think of Pudge, I think of him as a Texas Ranger. He spent the last part of his career with Detroit, all fine and dandy and cool, whatever. And they were good Detroit teams. But when I look at it, Pudge is a Ranger. So Verlander, my all-time favorite Detroit Tiger. And then we look at the Cleveland franchise, the Guardians now, the Indians when I was growing up. And man, oh man, did they have some fun players and some fun teams, especially in the 90s when I was growing up. I mean, you could go with like a David Justice type or Kenny Lofton or an Albert Bell or a Juan Gonzalez or a Jim Thome, which, by the way, you could put Jim Thome on the White Sox, on Cleveland. I mean, how can you not like that guy? He's just like honorable mention doesn't do it justice. He's just in probably on all of these. My favorite guy, Robbie Alomar, Sandy Alomar were on those Cleveland teams. But my favorite guy from those Cleveland teams when I was growing up was Omar Vizquel. I just loved the way that guy played shortstop. I don't know. He was just really, really fun to watch. So anyway, I just thought it was fun to look back and look through. And that brought me then to, all right, we looked in the division. Who was someone outside? Just who's your favorite non-Minnesota Twin ever? And that's a fun one to think about because there are guys in my life as I was growing up. Like, I've always been a Minnesota sports fan, but who are some of those guys that like grabbed your attention early on that weren't from your specific team? So in baseball, it was Ken Griffey Jr. Who else could it be but the kid? You know what I mean? He was awesome. He was awesome, and my favorite non-twin potentially ever. Basketball was Michael Jordan. Football would be, who would you go with in football? I'd have to think about football a little harder. But anyway, just I don't know. I thought it was fun. What do you think? Do you agree with those? Do you disagree with those? You'll have to let me know and put a little thought into it yourself. I think it's fun to look back and the harder you think about it, the more random names you come up with, which is pretty fun too. A reminder on the broadcast schedule this evening on 101.7 FM and AM 920 KWAD. Also online at wadenaradio.com/KWAD. Park Region Conference Boys Basketball. Henning at Wadena Deer Creek. 7:15 pregame with a 7:30 tip. Yeah, I think that's it. Morning Sports Desk for February 6th.